So, previously, in the last episode of Yugoslavok Boogaloo, everyone get down with the communism type arrangement. Things happened. People bucked the yoke of authority and ran naked across the rooftops and got into a fight with a bear, which somehow is not the strangest thing Gregor has done so far.
Yeah.
No, that was licking blood off the floor.
I mean, amongst other things. Swallowing a whole deer at one point was also pretty fucking odd.
Oh, yeah.
Alexei was doing cool, like, paranormal investigation bullshit and discovered, something that no one else in the city seems to know, which is that Stalin's been dead for like 3 months. And that somehow no one in the city knows this.
I only know he's dead. I don't know how long he's been dead.
Oh, no, of course, but yeah. At the very least, Alexei is one of the few people in a couple of, 100-mile radius who's actually aware that the leader of the Soviet Union has passed away. And Kramer basically just did some light ecumenical work, did some studying at the library, we just had a nice productive day. We're all very proud of him.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, his day kind of terminated with Torin appearing, wanting to put Kramer on lockdown after a crazy naked homeless man broke out of a secure holding cell and was last seen running across the rooftops with huge tendrils dripping from his arms.
Whoops.
And while no one can confirm that he's an American assassin sent here to destabilize the city, it's kind of the first thing a lot of people went to. Because hentai hadn't reached the Soviet Union at this point. So when people see tentacles, they're like, fuck aliens. Not, fuck aliens. But they're different context for fuck. Anyway. Jesus
Christ.
Just recapping this game is stressful. Just thinking about what's happened previously. And we kind of closed out on Gregor being quite literally scraped off the floor of Artemis' cabin. Gregor's open air quotes friend, who unfortunately did not take the fact that he'd brought the NKVD directly to his door particularly well, and in an attempt to detain him, turned into a large bear and basically pounded him into the floorboards. And the last thing Gregor saw, before everything kind of went, before everything cut to black in a very directorial way, was a man with close cropped hair and a pearl blue suit, looking over the scene with a certain level of anticipation and superiority. We're going to move a little forward in time. Not a huge amount. And we will then go back in time to where the other characters are. But we just want to move forward for Gregor just momentarily.
Okay.
Gregor, you are rather haphazardly kind of gathered from the floor. Rough gasoline-powered saws hew through the floorboards, and you are basically lifted in one kind of semi-adhered piece from the floor of this cottage, and bundled into a thickly lined metal casket. There's no air holes, no viewing slit. It is solid. And as you are bundled in there, still struggling to find your form, you hear the clattering and rattling as bolts are slammed home, and even kind of the sparking, the distant bluish kind of sparks as a welding rod is ran round the perimeter of the lid, sealing you in. Inside, there is nothing to gauge time. There's distant cluttering, banging, a sense of motion as you are lifted and dropped, moved back and forth. At one point, you feel a rhythmic thrum of an engine vibrating this coffin which contains you. And eventually, light. The bright blue sparks of a gas axe cut into the metal. In this time while you've been in there, have you been trying to, like, form a human body, or just try and gather yourself in general?
Human body.
Okay, so you are actually, you've taken the time to actually go back into human meat form.
Yeah, I mean, wherever I'm going, it doesn't sound good, so yeah, definitely human.
Okay. It's not necessarily comfortable. The box is big enough for you to pretty much fully extend, but you're just trapped in a metal box with some broken pieces of wood. So there is no real comfortable position for you to be in. The light is bright. It leaves afterglow as you shut your eyes against it. And a piece of slightly sparking and sputtering metal falls into the coffin beside you. And light, cold, artificial fluorescent light spills in through the hole. Through it you can hear slightly muted voices, movement, the click and whir of machinery. And for the moment, there is nothing else. Do you try to peek through the hole?
Yeah.
It's not too difficult for you to kind of move around. You look through the hole, and maybe 2 or 3 feet away is the lens of a camera. It's on some kind of long metal pole, and it seems to move and recalibrate slightly, as if it seems to be moved by gears or some kind of engine. It reacts as you look through the hole, and there's the distant sh of a shutter as it captures an image. Slightly compressed and crackling, you hear a voice over the speakers. Voice over some speakers that are outside of your field of view. Ah, he wakes. Good evening, Doctor. I apologize for the means of your transportation, but you must understand you have made it a little difficult to keep you contained.
What's going on here?
The camera kind of shifts a little, trying to get a better look at you. Now don't play coy with me, Doctor. No. Please understand that the situation we found you in, it was not really a surprise so much as it was a inevitability. We saw your little stunt, escaping from lockup. It is something that, in hindsight, we probably should have accounted for. But, for the sake of state secrecy, we had to keep a lot of key personnel in the dark. Now me, you can call me a friend. A colleague, so to speak. My name is Afanas. And I believe we have much to discuss. Now, would you prefer to stay in there, or would you like to give us a demonstration about how you can easily leave that box if you so chose?
No idea what you're on about. I'd love to get out of here if you could just open up that hole quite a bit more.
There's kind of a pause, then just slightly off, not through the speakers, but you can just about hear it if you strain your ears. You hear the same voice go, "Bring it up to 250 degrees. And there is a distant and you feel the base of the box start to heat up.
Oh.
Over the radio, over the speakers again, you hear, "I have all day, Doctor. You do not."
Okay. In my sort of survey of this room, is there just the one camera, or is there could there be another one that I can't see?
From where you are, without changing your form or trying to get a better, or trying to kind of find another way to look out of this box, all you can see is this kind of white, there is some kind of thick, semi-reflective material that seems to cover the entire room. White ceiling tiles, and then just this big Bakelite camera with its large black winking lens looking directly through the hole.
I have not a lot of options here.
I would also like to remind you, you still have all your conditions.
Because I have a plan, but if there's multiple ways that plan could fail.
This is encouraging. Do go on.
And I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but theoretically speaking, I have more than 5 XP.
And
So
as I said before, if you
theoretically-
want, since you did not bother to pick a move or any other advancement, you may decide to use one now.
Theoretically speaking, going up the tentacles and such, I'd say it would be pretty in line with having some sort of ink shooty ability to maybe block out the camera.
Okay, so you want to create a power?
Sure.
Because I'll be honest with you, that would probably just fall under tentacles. You'd just be using Messy as a benefit, just to slime it.
Okay.
So I'd say you wouldn't necessarily need to make it a brand new power just to do that.
Because from where I'm standing right now, well, laying down, I guess, either I use power or I'm dead. And if I'm going to have to use a power anyway, I might as well use a power to maybe get me out. So, sure, I'm going to try and slime the camera lens and time it with the shutter.
I mean, there's like a glass lens over it, so you're not going to be able to like block it or interfere with the internals of this camera unless you absolutely blast it. And I will point out, you have a major condition, so you cannot get a 10+.
I'm just aiming to
obscure it.
Obscure its vision in the split second that it shutters, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, give me a roll with... I mean, you're using a power, so let's go... Well, actually, you know what? Because you're trying to... No, we'll go with strange. So you're rolling at +3. However, you are rolling with also a -3. So you're basically rolling a flat 0. So
Well, that's not good.
I mean, that's better than having a -3. So just roll a flat 2d6. Hey, you know what? That's the best result you could have got.
We take those.
Okay. So... you... And I mean... How does this look? Are you just, like, spitting horrible, black, goopy just shit all over the camera? Or is there, like, an actual part of you that tentacalizes just for a second to, like, obscure the screen?
I guess. Like, if I'm, like, spitting this out, I can stay in my human form, so...
Yeah.
That?
I mean, it'll look fucking gross. But, at least it will make you... You'll still look kind of human. Okay, so I'm going to say for a partial success, this can buy you an immediate opportunity, but you're going to have to commit.
Okay. Is it literally just that? Is that my only option?
Okay. Let me think about this. Alright, you either have an immediate opportunity to act and try and escape, but mortal danger will kick in for the rest of this scene. That means you can absolutely die. Or you buy yourself time to get a better grip of the situation, but you will take damage. Not die, but one of your conditions will change to something nasty.
Oh, those are both really bad.
You're in a very bad situation.
I'm gonna go for the latter, I guess.
I was going to say,
And
you do have pragmatics, so this will give you a +2 when you act on the answers you get.
to that then, yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
I meant to. Yeah, that's what I meant to do.
Local man looks at his character sheet. Oh, fuck, I've got a move for this.
The worst part is I literally have it right in front of me.
No, it's fair. So, with that moment of opportunity, having obscured the camera, you are able to just subtly distend your eyeball through the hole. Just enough so you can actually take in the rest of the room around you. It's brief and it's uncomfortable. You can feel your back singeing. The box is beginning to fill with smoke as the wood starts to sear. And I'm going to say that that flat is going to turn into flaming. So it is now Flaming Fuck Friday.
Motherfucker.
This box is suspended on a fairly lightweight metal frame, underneath of which are a bunch of gas burners that are blasting blue flame into the bottom of this box. It's already beginning to glow with heat. The entire room you seem to be in is coated in a thick layer of what looks like plastic, perspex maybe, just local homeless man baked in an oven on live TV. Man, the Russians are fucking dark. You also see that the camera does lead off to a separate open area beyond beyond the curtain, behind which are what look like some fairly, classic big chunky computers, and you see maybe 3 or 4 people in white lab coats, the man in the pearl blue suit, and more specifically, you do see that there does seem to be a seam running around where the two pieces of this kind of thick plastic link. And it comes to your attention that you can just see a crack. But it would lead you straight at them. So that's what you see of the situation.
I mean,
over the speakers you hear, "Come now, doctor, a dirty protest isn't going to make anyone look credible here."
I suppose my only real option is to go at the seam, I guess. Or you said there was like a.
I mean, you've got like canisters of gas and an open flame below you. You have like whatever is connecting this camera runs through the screen and like into the other part of this room. There are things you could do.
I
will also say complying is also an option, but this is entirely down to what you want to do.
Maybe I throw him a bone, then maybe I just stick a little tentacle out.
I'm assuming this is not your penis.
Well, it's yeah, just a little tentacle out, and then I draw it back in.
You wiggle, and after a couple of seconds, you hear the burners cut out, and over the speakers, "Well, it is not exactly the display I was expecting, but at least it is a confirmation that our beliefs were not unfounded." There's kind of a cut, and you hear more kind of muffled, muted talking, and the line cuts back on again. "Now, Doctor, we can make your stay here very comfortable, or we can make it very uncomfortable, as you are quite clearly aware. I am happy to open that up and maybe furnish you with somewhere pleasant to stay, feed you, so forth and so forth, if you are willing to hear out what I have to say. Does this sound amenable? Please wiggle if you agree.
Sure. Little wiggle comes out.
Excellent, excellent. And, yes. Alright, prepare for phase 2. Migrate him to the cell. The lights cut out, and you hear some part of the screen being pulled back, and people moving towards you. I will leave you there. You may choose to discuss, consider what you might want to do. We'll move around a little bit to Alexei.
Da.
So previously, I believe we've ended with you having broken the news to Elga
Yes.
regarding, the whole Stalin situation. At this point in time, it is getting later, and we are not too far off from the time when Elga pointed out that these visitations, these things start to happen. I can't recall if you had actually decided on what you wanted to do next, or if you were...
No. I was waiting for Kramer to show up.
Ah, yes, you'd made a call out to Kramer. You had, hadn't you? In which case, we will possibly... Yeah, skip back away from you from a second. Kramer.
Yeah.
So, you had sent your assistant off with the information you'd put together.
Mm-hmm.
And Torin had arrived, basically saying that you wanted to take you into protective custody.
Right. That would be a huge problem.
Well, Torin is looking very kind of... He's flushed. He's looking at every corner like it's potentially about to have someone spring out with a Kalashnikov. But at the same time, he seems very concerned for your well-being and very concerned for precisely what the fuck is going on here at this point. He waits for you at the staff car, kind of arms folded across his chest, keeps scanning up and down the street, kind of waiting for you to get your shit together and come over. Dr. Kramer, I am... Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, hit me.
There is more at play here than I am fully prepared to understand. There are people coming in from the outside who are apparently just calling the shots out of nowhere, displacing command. We had a murder, and I am now being told to just burn the paperwork, just to ignore it. Something is going on here, and...
Burn the shit that we were looking into.
The body in the fire, the disappearances that have been happening around the city. I'm going to be honest with you, Doctor. Something is happening here, and I do not know if I am particularly the correct person to help you. Everywhere I go, everyone I know, I do not know if they are compromised. I do not know if they have some ulterior motive.
Did you get rid of the paperwork?
He just looks at you. Could you give me a roll with real?
All right. Let me roll D26 plus.
Throw in nerves for steel.
So that would be +1.
+1, yeah. Whew, okay, fair enough. Yeah, you already have a bond with Agent Torin as a comrade, don't you?
I believe so.
Would you like to turn that into friend?
Yeah. Fuck it. I'll take
This
it.
is kind of the Kim Kitsuragi, Agent Torin trusts you kind of moment. Torin looks at you, just smiles wryly, and just jabs a thumb at the back seat. No, I am for all that the party expects a lot of me in terms of obedience. I was a police officer first, and I will remain a police officer foremost. All the information is in the back. I felt that someone of your interests might dig up more than I could draw together.
Okay, good. Because something's fucking going on. All right, between the homeless dude licking fucking blood off of the floor, this dude appearing out of nowhere telling me to start looking into some music, fucking poetry dude from God knows where in the Ukraine. Something isn't right. Now, I gotta meet up with someone who may be able to help us. I'm gonna bring this information to him. Me and him are gonna discuss it. You can choose whether to join or not. That's up to you.
Do you have a gun?
No, but I do
I'm-
have magic.
Then I am coming with you, and please do not call it magic.
Okay. Fair enough.
I am just about holding on to my concept of what is real and what is not real, without you walking around actually claiming to know how to do magic.
All right, we'll call it something else. We'll call it special arts.
Now it just sounds like you know how to do paper mache. Anyway, I am getting in the car. Please get in.
All right, that's fine.
He just kind of sits in, just lights a cigarette with a match. He has never smoked on duty before. It is very clear that something has finally kind of just cracked in his composure.
If he's smoking on duty in order to keep up with character, can I like snort a little bit of coke off of like my hand or something or my finger?
If you do, I mean, yeah, you are more than welcome to do that. And just Torren just kind of sees you do that, shrugs, takes another drag on his cigarette, and then just puts the car into gear.
Fuck yeah! Then that's what I'm gonna do.
Where to, boss?
Where did Alexei say he wanted to meet?
Block 3, if I recall correctly.
Then block 3. That's where I want to go.
All right, just keep your head down and don't spill cocaine in the back seat. I have to clean this fucking thing.
Sounds good.
You kind of hear him just kind of chuckle to himself, and yeah, he drives you through the city. The Yugoslavok has really just started to lock itself down. You see groups of armed guards just walking down the street on patrol. Those people who are still outside are just kind of being either being kind of ushered into buildings, or are very quickly making themselves scarce down side alleys, or hopping onto the tram that runs through the city as like its main point of public transport. There aren't any roadblocks. You do see a couple of these groups of people do look at the car as it drives by, but recognizing it as a staff car, they know better than to try and flag it down. And by the time you get towards Block 3, it's getting close to like, say 9:15-ish. It's getting quite late in the evening, and while the summer air is starting to break the overall frigid atmosphere of the city, tonight feels deeper, colder, more of a void than a pure night sky. The sky is overcast, swallowing the stars, and even this late, flecks of snow begin to dawdle down, catching in the light from street lamps. Block 3 has lit up for the evening, amber light spilling here and there from different windows, different signs of life within this block. And as the car pulls to a stop and you exit, the whole building flickers. Alexei, in the room you're in, the lights flicker. There is a great rush of air through the ventilation, as if a great breath were being drawn in. A trickle comes from the sink in the kitchen, a slightly foul, fetid smell as rust-red water drips from the taps. Elga steels herself with a mug of tea in her hand and looks at you.
I was hoping I would have some help by now, but we do not have time. Elga, keep an eye on my body. And with that, Alexei takes a seat in a fairly open space, and he begins humming to himself. Just a very not quite the Om that you see monks doing, but just a pure sound as he attempts to slip into his spirit form to just be prepared to meet whatever it is that is causing this.
That's fair enough. I'm going to say you've got the time and space to do this without needing a roll.
Okay.
You are able to just focus. This is you at your best, most prepared. You're not under pressure. You're not at risk of being interrupted. You're in a safe space with someone who knows how to watch you. This is not going to be difficult. The block molts, as if the concrete is but a veneer of paint. The glass is simply the skin of a soap bubble, a thin membrane, flexible and pliable. Underneath is meat, dark, bloody meat. This whole building stands like a fractured spinal column, swaying gently, flexing, as blood and tissue pulsate. It isn't life, but it is the twitch and roil of flesh rotting, infested and pulsating with maggot and bacteria. Above, the rot is less present. It is almost brushed away by the wind, dried and cured. But below you, there are worms. There is a roiling, fetid darkness, consuming, screaming. It takes you a moment as you hold your mind's eye steady, not allowing yourself to completely disappear into its depths, its hungry depths. Until...
Oh.
Kramer, Torin has walked you up into the block of flats, and taking directions from where and Alexei had told you to go, he has knocked on the door of a particular apartment.
Alright.
Torin just kind of looks around, sniffs. Smells like something fucking died here. Can you smell that? Like a fucking...
No, I don't smell nothing. Probably from the coke. What does it smell like? It just smells like something died. Like, what kind of carcass we talking about?
It's not for me to say. It is... And then the door is opened just a fraction of an inch. Light kind of immediately cutting through the darkness. An older woman, kind of her late 40s, looks out at you two. I'm very sorry. This is I have a friend. We are in the middle of something. Are you? She...
Yeah, I'm the guy he called earlier. We were supposed to talk, but we got sidetracked with something.
She looks over at Torin and the official gear he's standing in. Torin just kind of takes his cap off and looks deferent. He's definitely not making an attempt to look less threatening, but he's trying not to make himself look like an active threat. She just looks back and forth to the two of you.
He's safe. Can we come in?
Yes, give me a moment. The door dips shut. There's a click, and then it comes off the latch, and she opens it out. Please come in. Please keep your voices down. My friend is concentrating. Please take a seat. I have tea. She
Okay, sounds
waits
good.
for you and Torrin to step through, then just quickly but quietly shuts the door and locks it again. The room is, it's warm. Amber light spills from the bulb in the middle of the kitchen. There is the reassuring scent of tea in a pot and a couple of small biscuits in a little flowery saucer. But the thing you do notice most of all is the figure of Alexei sat cross-legged on the floor. Not utterly rigid, but calm and still, his eyes closed. You specifically, being a man who has familiarized himself with the arcane and the supernatural, Kramer, you do see a slight ripple in the air around Alexei, as if he is exuding something more than simple heat.
Okay.
Alexei, you don't lose yourself, but you do feel the presence of others entering this room. Tiny fragments, just a gust of cold air as the door is opened. The feeling of a vibration as a footstep moves near where you're sitting. Almost like you can feel the displacement in the world as they move around.
As he feels that, he is going to slowly pull himself out of the trance and bring his attention back to the physical plane.
Fair enough. Yeah, you bring yourself back into the room, and yes, Elga, Torrin, and Kramer are all sat politely at the table. There is a fourth chair left slightly open for you. Torrin is nursing a cup of tea, as is Elga.
Good day, Comrade Kramer. Who is this man? Oh no, I've met Torrin, haven't I?
I think you have met Torrin, yes.
He's good.
You're not like you don't know him well, but you are familiar with who Torrin would be.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Torrin
has
solid.
Torrin has slung his coat over the back of the chair, taken his cap off. He hasn't loosened a button on his uniform, but he is at the very least at ease.
I don't know where to start. I guess I shall start with what I know. I know that one of the young ladies in this building has gone missing. I do not know exactly how or why, but simply that she lived in this building. She worked at one of the sites in what do you call it? In the city, and that she was helping people here with their electronics and radios. I know that this building, there is something wrong with it. Exactly what I cannot see. I'm trying to think of any other details he needs to catch him up on. I have found something in the basement, though after the experience I have just had, I am not certain it is safe to go down there.
You did also spot, you have the address, you have an address that you found in one of her jacket pockets.
Oh,
as
yes.
well as a scrap of red cloth, which you are familiar from the party.
He'll relay that information.
When you mention the red cloth, Torrin's eyes do narrow. You'll see your...
So-
Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, no, I was just gonna say. So there was a red cloth and there was a disappearing lady. Did he say he was holding the information for a bit, or because
Sorry, repeat that.
you said there was a red cloth and a missing lady? Did you say you were gonna withhold the information for a bit?
No, no, no. I have given that.
Yeah, he relayed
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, then I guess in that case, I might as well give him the rundown on everything I ran into with the vision, with the blood experiment that I was doing in the lab, the weird NKVD boss Afanas, pretty much, and the music and the music assignment thing that he was talking about. Just basically write up, give him the report of everything strange that I encountered.
That's fair enough. Torin also supplied you with a bunch of extra police files that he had been told to destroy.
Oh shit, what's in these police files?
Well, yeah. Now that you are both together, you can sit down and go through these. Torin seems to have something he wants to say, and once all information has been laid out on the table, he opens up one of the folders. I had a feeling it would have something to do with this, but, well, I suppose I just didn't want to try and see the link. He tosses a couple of folders to each of you. Each of them are fairly random people, mixture of ages, sex, careers. However, it also includes NKVD profiling, potential, the potential for them to be subversives, the links they have to groups that might be considered radical or subversive. And one specific thing does seem to come up on all of them.
All right.
Each of them has at least one photograph of them wearing some kind of red band.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Specifically, that is marked. Each of those photographs is marked with pen. Torin kind of runs his hands over a couple of more of the files. These disappearances, I looked into them. I was under the impression that it was probably just the NKVD taking subversives and just processing people as they do. But this keeps coming up. This red sash. It's not exactly like wearing red is considered distinctly anti-Soviet, but here it seems to have a second thought, a second purpose. And 13, 14 people, all with this as a common feature?
Wait, what's that? I'm sorry.
Like, I saw the people at that party. There were dozens. Fucking maybe 100 or more. There is some kind of organization at play here, which the NKVD is trying to step on.
Wait, Sab, can you say that again? You cut out.
Torin just... There is some kind of organization here. I mean, there were hundreds of people at that gathering. All of them wearing those red sashes. I mean... Why these people? Why specifically these people? If it is a big dissident movement, why not just sweep in and round them up?
Maybe because they're trying to hide something. the body in the fire. Did anybody have you or anyone else gotten back on maybe who specifically that was? I know when I was doing my stuff in the lab, I was having visions of snow and all sorts of shit, but I wasn't able to get an exact thing on it.
Excuse me, visions?
Yeah, there was the homeless man that we all encountered earlier at the bonfire.
At the mention of the homeless man, Alexi's face goes a little pale.
He was licking up blood off the floor, and he kindly gave me some for a sample.
Elga is looking at this with deep concern on her face.
I did my thing. I pulled out some magic spells and such, special art spells and such, and I was able to get something out of it. It was, I don't remember much of it now, but I do remember there was snow, I think.
At the mention of magic, Alexei he is suddenly fixated upon Kramer, a kind of wonderment over in his eyes.
Fanboy.
Yeah, it was. This is probably it's a strange thing for an American professor to pick up in his part-time job, but I got invested in the special arts and then wound up here. And this is something I haven't seen before ever. Usually, you know how it usually is. It's usually designated to the usual witchcraft with the magic potions and the spells and all that shit. But something isn't right with this.
I think there is something you gentlemen need to see. If you will come with me down to the basement where I have found something, perhaps some answers will be given.
Sounds good to me.
Torin looks back and forth at the two of you, looks over at Elga. Elga just shakes her head. Torin shrugs and goes to put his coat back on. All right. Lead the way. I don't know what I will do.
You're doing enough as it is. Just keep an eye out.
As we're getting ready to leave, Alexi's going to squirrel away and have a just like a small conversation with Elga, saying, "These men are government agents. Elga, if anything, if you ever feel unsafe or that they may be closing in on you, just contact me. I'll do my best to hide you or to find you new dwellings."
Elga just nods sagely, puts a hand on your shoulder. My dear, I have taken care of myself long before I knew you. I can take care of myself long since. But if what that man says is true, I believe I have more to fear than simply feeling afraid of government men. And she just teases a small scrap of red material out from her skirt pocket and tucks it back in.
Alexei, he has a shocked look on his moment for a face, and then he resumes and he says, "Thank you for your kindness, Elga." And with that, he joins the other gentleman in the hallway, or leads them out, whichever.
Yeah. You all three of you reconvene out on the hall in the exterior of the building.
This way, gentlemen.
The snow is beginning to thicken. The wind is still, and the rain, the snowflakes are beginning to stop simply melting and start stacking slightly here and there, adding a white fringe to the shapes around you. The grass has begun to crisp with frost, and you crunch your way through the darkness towards the bare bulb that highlights the maintenance access point.
As we descend, Alexi's going to ask the following question. Comrade Kramer, when you say magic, what do you mean?
You know, like incantations that come out of a book and random Latin phrasings, magic stuff that appears, special art stuff that appears out of nowhere, maybe a vision or two here and there. I don't know.
But you mean this in a purely literary way, right? You don't actually. You're an occultist. You study magic, but you understand that its function is not. It's not real, right?
It's real. It's definitely real. That's how I was able to get the vision of the thing earlier.
There's just a muffled bush, Moy, coming from Torin.
Are you like me?
I'd like to think so.
Okay.
Although I think it's a different kind of special art.
I never studied any magic. I didn't look into much of it, or at least I didn't use any of it. I always found it easier not to put words or rituals in place. It was always easier to just feel my way around. You understand? This thing inside me, it is more, for lack of a better word, nature. It is a thing that I cannot describe it, but I think you will see it soon enough. I think that's all that he has to say.
That's fair enough. The three of you descend. I'm assuming, Alexei, you're leading the way.
He knows the way, yes.
The lighting down here is beginning to flicker and fail. And as you go further, you do feel that rushing of air, as if a breath were being taken, drawing the air from the tunnels down here. Behind you, Torin pauses for a second, fumbles around in his pocket and pulls out a flashlight, clicks it on, takes a couple of moments to kind of warm up. If it is all the same to both of you, simply give me directions and I will lead the way.
We are not far. Alexei guides them to where he found, I believe it was a piece of human scalp and a few what appear to be bullet holes.
Yes. You descend through these tunnels. The cool concrete now utterly frigid. Moisture clinging to the walls. The last couple of lights now browning out. And all three of you have this sweet scent of decay begin to cling to your nostrils. And as you get to the final door where the room lies, one of those two, it becomes acute, immediate, and thick, the air itself almost cloying with it. Torin just takes a moment, coughs, spits on the floor, and brings out his sidearm, crosses it over his wrist, and steps towards the door. I must warn you, gentlemen, this is not the first time I've smelt this kind of smell.
When was the first time?
He just looks back over at you. Leningrad.
Right.
You recall he served, and it was a traumatizing experience. He places his hand on the handle of the door and pulls. The smell assaults you. Sewage and flesh, blood and bile, piss, shit, as if an overflowing sewer had surfaced here. Both of you give me a roll with real.
All right. Let me go through here.
Games, use Nerves of
Yeah.
Steel. So
That
take a
would
+1
be
to that.
+1. Oh, damn.
Hey.
Okay. I will give you both the same choice. Would you like to take a minor consequence and keep your head together? Or would you like to see what will be comfortable for you to see?
I'll take the minor.
I'll take the minor as well.
Okay. Both of you take the minor condition revolted.
All right.
As you look into this room, and quite in keeping with what you had imagined, the sewer main here has split open. Raw sewage is bubbling up from the rusted pipework. But worse still, you see limbs, a head, red gore intermingling with the brown filth, and it's moving. Hands scratch across the fetid concrete. Eyes roll in dead sockets. Loose entrails spill and lasso lashing the pieces together.
What the fuck
Piece
is...
by piece, bodies pull themselves into one great tangled ball.
What the
The
fuck is
lights
this thing?
dim. The air is still. And then it screams. A breathless, hoarse, horrified scream.
Watch my body, Kramer.
That's what I did.
I'm going to show you how I will show you perhaps my version of magic. Alexi,
What the fuck is this thing?
As you are attempting to say that, there are two loud bangs as Torin fucking shoots at it.
wait! Too late.
There's just two red pock marks open up in this tangle of flesh, seemingly to no real effect, as Torin is just eyes wide, mouth open, stepping backwards, trying to kind of keep his footing on this slick floor.
Was this what you encountered earlier? This is what you wanted to show me? What the hell is this thing?
I did not go this far. I did not know what this thing was. I could only feel it in the building's I could only feel its presence. I did not go this far. I was too frightened. I think my fear was justified.
Yeah, your fear was justified. It certainly was.
Is it in any way moving towards us or aggressively making moves?
It is currently just trying to hold itself together. The limbs at the exterior of this thing are trying to cling to whatever is nearby to hold it in place. You see the kind of gut and sinew straining to hold its mass in one place. The eyes that have kind of come to the surface are rolling and trying to fix on you. But the whole thing is this kind of slippery, moving mass. Nothing is ever kept static. Everything is roiling.
Alexei is going to do his best to use his spirit form to communicate with it. Or at least open a channel of communication.
Okay. I'm definitely going to need you to give me a roll with Strange.
Sounds fucking fantastic.
Would this be... Would Revolted affect
That would
this?
definitely kick in, yeah. There'd be a -2 here. A -1 even.
Yeah, okay, then that would be +1 for me.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Kramer, you don't have to do... I mean, you tell me what you want to do.
In that case, ignore this one. I want to... Let's see. What is Alexei doing?
So Alexei is trying to open up his metaphorical chakras and try and communicate with this thing.
And what is Torin doing?
Torin is freaking the fuck out. Torin has...
Then in that case, I want to calm Torin down, and then I also want to try to communicate, but in a different sense, I suppose. Instead of doing it spiritually, I kind of want to do it up close and with a spell. You know when I was in the lab and I was doing that alchemy thing with the blood? I kind of want to do that with this.
Want to freebase the shit monster?
Yes.
Ew.
But first I want to calm Torin down.
Okay, first and foremost, so cool. We've got that from Alexei. How well you do here will affect how well Alexei does as well. So let's have a look here. Yeah, give me a roll with real. However, you have Agent Torin as a bond, so take +1 from him, +1 from Nerves of Steel.
Okay.
I don't think Glib would kick in, so -1 from Revolted, you're rolling at a +1.
Fuck.
Yeah, you reach out to try and calm Torin. He just, without even looking, just kind of reaches a hand out to try and push you behind him, and mag dumps the rest into this form. It does nothing. His finger is just emptily clicking with the slide racked back. He just kind of slips and staggers and finally just goes backwards over the lip of the door frame and falls onto his back. And at that point, he does just let out the most hoarse, desperate scream.
Oh shit.
Alexei.
Oh.
It's like opening your ears in a wind tunnel.
Oh.
It's deafening. This cacophony of screaming, pleading, bargaining, rage, defeat, longing and desperation. Dozens of voices overlapping, competing, trying to be heard amongst the chaos. You hear scraps of words. I can inform. I know names. You'll know nothing from me. You fucking lapdog. You will do your worst. Please, he's bleeding. I can be useful to you. Please, just let me. And then they are silent. And you feel the weight of their attention fall upon you. Who? Ah, you.
I can help you. If you want to go, I can take you. I can send you to the other side.
But who?
You can rest.
Who will? But who will? Who will help the next? Who will help the next?
We can. I can help anyone. You just have to tell me what I need to know,
Can I also yell out who is the next?
You can't hear this.
Oh, am I with?
You are
Torin
still
right now
kind of with
while
Torin at the
freaking
moment. From what you see, Alexei is just staring down this thing, and the thing is kind of staring him down in return.
Oh Jesus!
Cold stone, cold stone, and a bullet to the head. There is always there is always another. A finger on the trigger.
I need something I can use. A name, a face, a location.
And then you hear names, each from a different voice. And you do recall at least a couple. They are the names from the files.
Do you know who did this to you?
Who did this? Did this? Who this? Men. Weak men. Weak men with guns. Clinging to an old life. Clinging to an old way. They would not let the old world die, so they kill us instead. We know the truth. The old man is dead, and they will kill to keep his death dead.
Who's the old man?
I know who.
Unless you're talking about the homeless guy.
Please, I need you to focus, or I need just one of you to speak. I just need something concrete. I need something that we can act on, work on, something to point us in the right direction.
That's what you're doing.
Something
This is the movement, right?
precise.
The shape ripples. Things move. Body parts surface and submerge again. And a face is pushed to the front. Light red hair. Clean green eyes misted with decay. A large portion of her scalp missing. Maggots winking in her brain. The face of Anna Petrovic looks out at you from the mass.
Know this, Anna Petrovic. I will find your killer, and they will see justice.
There can be no justice. And Kramer, you can hear this now as well. The face is speaking. What justice can there be in an unjust world? In a country owned by men who have never tilled its soil? By men who have never seen a sunrise break over the mountains? Cold, hard, selfish men who only know how to take. The land called to us, and we answered. The sisters knew a way. And when they found out what we were doing, that we could rise up with the spring, they killed us like insects, stuffed us into the cracks. But even in decay, we can be together. We can be joined in life and in death. Our country bleeds, and we shall bleed with her.
And I will make sure that these men bleed as well. Or at the very least, that their souls will bleed. Do you want to go? Do you want to rest now?
The whole mass draws itself up and subsides a little. If you believe, then they will find you. If you believe, maybe you can do what we could not. The sisters, they will find you. And then piece by piece, the mass falls apart. Until there is nothing but a ragged, gelatinous mass of flesh and sewage spilling forth from a ruptured pipe. In the silence, there is just a ragged, kind of clutched breathing coming from Torin, who has scrabbled backwards and is pressing his back hard against the distant wall.
I don't sense anything anymore, right?
This place is at peace.
Okay. Sorry.
What?
I just had the image of the poltergeist lady. This house is clean.
Mark experience as you have resolved this. You have resolved the situation.
Hell yeah.
It took a long time to actually resolve dirty deeds, but you actually did it.
Holy shit. That was pretty fucking rad.
That is what I do.
So he said...
sorry, was that not in character?
Oh no! I was just saying.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Craig was like, that was pretty fucking rad, that just dabs. That's pretty lit.
No, but in character, the first thing I would do after I sort of calmed down Torin after that spirit thing disappears is probably just to ask exactly what I asked before. Who's the old man?
The old man is Stalin. Comrade Stalin is dead.
Oh shit!
Just
That's pretty cool.
From kind of the back of the room. What?
I didn't really care for the Soviets anyway, so I guess I won't complain. But I think that's actually now that I'm thinking about it, that could probably not be good in the of what's going on here.
The fact that we have not heard about it means that the information is being suppressed. In fact, in Petrovic's apartment, there was specialized radio equipment used to catch a broadcast. Unfortunately, it was damaged, and yeah, that was the Sam caught that lie.
I was going to say, I'm just going to like, unfortunately it was damaged. I blew it up by accident.
Yeah. Technically he's not lying. Just skillfully avoiding the truth.
Okay, so wait. All right. Let me get this straight. So Stalin is dead. What does that have to do with that fucking thing? As I point to the remains of the corpses and the sewage and
I'm not sure. But if I were to guess, I would assume it has something to do with a sudden power vacuum and political men making moves that we don't know about.
Political men making moves and visions of tentacle monsters and homeless dudes licking blood off of the floor.
That homeless man, I suppose now would be a good time since we have bare their souls to each other. The homeless man, he is not human. He is some hungry thing. I cannot describe it, but when I was near him and I sensed his aura, it was not natural or not of this earth.
That explains licking blood up off the ground. I guess that also explains the vision with the snow, and fuck. I guess I shouldn't be as surprised, but I'm used to fucking cauldrons and fucking magic spells and shit, not fucking space aliens and commies. Fuck.
Comrade Torin, do you...
So that doesn't matter.
You are... can we trust you? Or specifically, can I trust you?
Sab?
Torin is kind of looking ahead, just still looking at the mess. After a moment, just kind of blinks, looks up at you, looks up at Alexei, then looks over at Kramer. I have a feeling that whatever I say is not going to make a difference in what happens to my future. But I would rather die knowing the truth than simply swallowing more lies. Comrade Volkov, whatever you need, I will be there.
And likewise to you, Comrade Torin.
Well, now that we've bonded all together over fucking the leftover dinner that I had last night or whatever, so what should we do now?
Please do not make light of the fact that several missing people have just been found in the fucking septic tank of this apartment building.
Fair enough. Sorry, but I'm just a little grossed out. But besides the point, what are we gonna do here? It's not, considering now I sort of understand why Afanas has showed up, and what are we gonna do? Like, fucking confront him? We gotta.
Anna Petrovic worked at one of the was it Site B, I believe?
Yes.
Anna Petrovic worked at Site B. I don't know what they do at these sites, but I know that whatever it is, it has to be related to this.
Yeah, you're probably correct on that. Maybe we'll find the homeless man there. By the way, did oh, that's right, Torin did say that. Yeah, maybe we'll find the homeless man there. He did escape, right?
I have no idea. After I saw that he was not human, I ran. I'm sorry, but I had enough to deal with.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. Well, Torin told me that the dude escaped, so maybe we'll find him at a site, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll find him. Maybe we should find him. Figure out what the hell that is. I don't know. I'm still
I will just say something here, because you did both hear it from the mass. The mass mentioned the sisters.
Oh yes, I wrote that down actually.
the sisters. Oh.
I remember at the fire there were two beings. They were not. They were big. They were not humans. They were some kind of manifestation. One was dark and was decay and death, and the other was light and life. And they said something about the old world and it being here too long, and that change was coming, and it was time. But it was just after I saw the body in the fire.
The sisters?
Could be.
Okay, well, I guess that would make sense. What would be considered the old world? Like,
Perhaps the world before Stalin. Perhaps there is something happening that we don't know. When was the last time since I arrived at this city, I have not left, and I have heard very little of the outside world.
maybe they're not trying to cover up something that happened on the outside. Maybe they're trying to cover up something that's happening here. The sisters, the NKVD dudes just showing up suddenly out of nowhere. I mean,
I think perhaps we should do some. We should find somewhere else to talk. The smell is starting to get to me, and it makes it difficult.
Yeah, I agree. How about we go back to my apartment? I'll put on a record, and we can talk about stuff and things away from the smell.
As we all make our way out, Alexei, he thinks on what he's seen today and what he's heard, and feels a rage inside of him, and he takes that rage and he begins to focus it and hone it, and it's going to be a skill by next session.
Yeah! Alexei has discovered the power of getting angry at things.
Yes.
Cool. And yeah, as you leave, Torin just is almost muttering to himself, I will find a call box and report this. Just someone should see the bodies get at least a decent burial.
It'll be okay, pal. It'll be okay. Let's just let's concentrate on getting out of here first. If it means anything, we still have an angle on this. I don't think Afanas knows that we know something. Maybe we could use that.
Afanas.
You'll get your justice.
Why do I feel like I've just woken up from some dream?
You haven't woken up from a dream, pal. We were just in the nightmare all along. Puts on the fucking sunglasses with the CSI Miami theme.
I'm legit gonna end that scene there, because that was actually a pretty good line until you fucking turned it into a CSI Miami. Just, yeah!
Well, you can still end the scene there.
I absolutely will. I absolutely will. Back to Gregor.
Hey, that's me.
Ah, he. The lad. Time has passed, and you have been moved to a different location. After a few moments of being put completely upright, a torch is passed around the perimeter of the box, and the door is slowly prized open. Before you is a fairly well-furnished room. Comfortable carpet lies in front of you. Pleasantly sculpted furniture. A fire. The table itself is laden with meats and cheeses. Sweets. A bottle of wine and a bottle of vodka. And some glasses. And sat across from you, smiling and smoking a thin cigarette, is the man in the pale blue suit. He smiles at you and indicates a hand to a couch where various clothes have been laid out, clean and in good order.
Are we like physically in the same room, or are we like separated by a screen or whatever?
You are in the same room together.
So I could just rip his throat out.
If you wanted to.
Okay, I'll see how this plays out first.
Yeah. The man smiles. Dr. Kosmolov. I figured that it would be only fair to reward cooperation with a more comfortable change of environment. Please, help yourself to some clothing, some food, and when you are ready, we can talk business.
Okay, yeah, I see no reason to. Yeah, I'll put on the clothes. Would I have any way of checking the food?
I mean, you have eaten entire deer before.
I'll just eat the food in no hesitation then.
Oh, that's fair enough. I mean, yeah, if you want to... are we talking, like, have a civilized amount or gorge yourself?
Civilized amount.
Okay, I'll say let's get rid of your major condition then. So you're still a flaming fuck, but it's no longer Friday.
That seems kind of worse in some cases, but
I mean, it means you can at least try to get a 10+.
Okay.
And yeah, you dress and feed yourself.
Yeah, I guess I go up to this guy and I'm like, yeah, let's talk business.
Excellent. One moment. He looks over his shoulder, and you see at the far side of the room, there is still that kind of screen, and a kind of sliding window, and at his gesture, the window is slid shut, leaving but just you and him alone in the room. I felt that what I had to say needed a degree of privacy, so I suppose we should probably get the formalities taken care of. My name is Afanas. I suppose you could say I was part of the previous administration. Recent events have led me to reconsider my position within the committee. You are, well, you go by Gregor, and I am willing to respect that is the name you prefer. But I am here to inform you that you did have a life before you were some naked old man out in the woods. And as such, you have value to both my country, my people, and, of course, myself.
Interesting how you say your country and your people. Where is it? Tell me more about myself.
Very well. He reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out a passport and some other identifying documentation and hands them over to you. The doctor, the name on the passport and the photograph of the passport, at least, matches a more well-dressed and groomed version of you. The name reads Dr. Grigory Kosmolov. And alongside the passport is a fairly official-looking ID card. It marks you out as Site B Administration.
Interesting.
You were very instrumental to a lot of the developments that were happening in Yugoslavia. However, one day you decided to get a little too involved in your work, and as we now see, you have the ability to become a seething mass of tentacles. This, as far as our team can understand, is because whatever entity you were studying fused with you in some way. We are not entirely certain if this was an attempt to feed or to establish some kind of parasitic or symbiotic relationship, or if it was purely coincidental. However, it came to my attention that the committee simply wanted to stick you in a box and forget about you. And in light of the change of events, I believe there is a better use for people like you. And that if the Soviets will not use you, I'm sure I can find someone who can.
Is this some sort of a squad? Suicide squad?
Nothing so crass, no. You know, the English, the Americans, there will always be someone out there with deep pockets and an interest in the unusual. And I felt since you are still at least have the semblance of a respectable member of the scientific community, we could go in this as partners, rather than me simply seeing you as a commodity.
Do I sense, like, being supernatural myself, do I maybe have a sixth sense, or am I picking up anything from this guy?
Give me a roll with strange.
It's just normal +2?
I would say, I mean, you're at a -3 at the moment, so you're technically -1.
Okay. Oh, this isn't going to go well.
I mean, mark experience. You just try to take a moment to take this guy in, and it's the heat of the room, it's the food, it's the discomfort you've gone through. You can't get a reading on this guy. He seems shockingly calm for someone left utterly undefended in a room with something that could rip him to pieces in seconds. But you're not sure if that's actual personal confidence or stupidity. Either way, Athanas simply regards you with a kind of off smirk on his face. Now, I know that maybe sounded a little forceful, and I appreciate that you do not take pressure well when it comes to people trying to tell you what to do. I am not suggesting that I simply make you trade one cell for another. But I know the Americans will be very much interested in understanding how you work, and if I could organize sufficient compensation, say a new life, a identity that would allow you to exist in a more comfortable fashion, who's to say that I could not negotiate something for myself? You must understand that Yugoslavok has always been seen as the repository for the stupid ideas, the waste paper basket that all the half-baked ideas get thrown into to try and justify their use, but not to actually try and work them in any meaningful way. The counter-surveillance delay they did, which blocks the radio transmissions, the failed super soldier who lives out in that fucking field, a friend of yours, if I recall correctly, before he smashed your head into the floorboards. It feels like this place is just one big, unmanaged asset that nobody seems to know what to do with. Well, at least until I came along. Dr. Kozmalov, let me be blunt. I wish to take Yugoslavok, to strip her down to the bone, and to take everything of value to the open market. Now, if you would be interested in helping me in such an endeavor, I could see to it that you have a very comfortable life, that we work in a partnership with mutual respect and mutual trust. All I would require from you is that you turn your talents to something productive, that you eliminate, well, the last couple of issues I have to deal with here.
I mean, not like I'm too attached to the city, so I don't. And I mean, you have given me a change of clothes and some food, so tentatively, yeah, Why not?
Excellent, excellent. So let me lay this out for you. There is a man who works here. Well, not inside Site B, but a man who is part of this whole kaleidoscope of wasted potential. A man, an American, called Kramer. I need him. I need you to take him and bring him to a location of my choosing. Alive, I should specify. There is also a list of people I need you to kill. I will give you ample opportunity, and it will not be particularly hard. It's simply that it must happen within a very particular time frame, and I simply do not have the resources to take care of it myself.
Okay. Tell me more about this Kramer.
He is an academic, a drug user, degenerate, typical man from Milwaukee. I find that he is useful. His knowledge and his ability to use the esoteric arts is, despite all my best efforts, useful, practical, and definitely of worth. However, they have been using him for idiotic PR stunts, discrediting dead musicians and all sorts of stupid shit. They do not understand that he has the ability to command people with his voice. What if we could translate that? What if we could put that on a tape? We could hypnotize the masses at a stroke.
Okay. Do you happen to know this guy's... Well, I need some sort of trail to go off. Do you know where maybe this guy lives, his likes, his dislikes?
He just kind of pulls a piece of paper out of his pocket and tosses it towards you. That is his address. I could probably get a copy of his front door key if you're interested. He has a minor security detail. One man, he's pretty much harmless. All I require is that you bring him to me alive. He is no use to me dead.
Okay, I can agree to that. I don't need the key though. I'm sure I can figure out my own way in.
Excellent, excellent. He pulls out a second piece of paper. Bring him to this location, and use the payphone there to notify me that he is in place. Once that is done, my agents will take custody of him. As far as liquidating the other assets, we will deal with that once you have this man in hand. Does this sound agreeable?
Yeah, I can agree to that.
Excellent. He reaches forward and offers his hand. I look forward to a very fruitful partnership.
Likewise.
And he will shake your hand firmly.
I'm probably going to need to figure out a way out of this building. I guess this guy's just going to kind of escort me out.
He without any. If you're not going to be doing anything here, he just stands up, hits a button on a wall, and the doors, a couple of doors at the other end of the room open. A man in a rather severe-looking coat and a young lady with a clipboard step out from the other side of the doorway, and Afanas just kind of gestures to them. They will see you out, and if you do need anything, they will be able to find you equipment or logistics or anything else you'll need.
Like imagine that. And basically, I'm walking out the door, and then as soon as he says, "Do you need anything?" I just immediately turn back around, and just maybe I can convince them to get rid of these problems with me, these consequences.
Are you saying you want to eat them?
It's not a no, but just not right now.
Are you saying you want to ask for medical attention, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can step out there, and I'm just trying to find their names amongst all this shit. Yes, you can step out there, and yeah, the hallway is again open, plain. There is a medical station not too far from where you're sitting. There's a guard post as well. The severe-looking man in his dress uniform kind of looks at you with a certain level of disgust, but walks in step with you. The lady with the clipboard just kind of keeps pace a couple of steps behind you. As you heard, if there's anything you'll need, please let me know. Logistics will not be an issue.
Yeah, definitely medical attention. And then that Kramer guy, whoever he is, doesn't stand a chance.
Certainly. We're made aware that in terms of your anatomy, you can regenerate from simply consuming large quantities of matter.
That's correct, yeah.
He looks over at the lady with the clipboard. She kind of looks over, kind of scans it over for a second, and goes, "I do have a candidate here who might be suitable. Subversion, assaulting a police officer. No, I don't think anyone will miss them. Come with me, cell 3." She brightly walks down a side hallway where you can see grated doors, heavy set, thick iron, and she comes to the third cell. Nods towards the guard who is standing by the door. Please, help yourself. And the guard rather dubiously looks at her, shrugs, opens the cell, and lets you step in.
I think this is a new chance to just start being ultra violent. I'm going to kill this guy in the most horrifying way possible.
You go inside the cell. There is a scrawny 16-year-old looking teenager.
Oh, fuck.
He's in, like, fairly rough-looking clothes. It looks like he's been beaten over. He kind of looks at you with mild confusion, one eye kind of slightly bruised up. Are you a doctor? I didn't think they sent them in.
I'm not a doctor, but I can make the pain go away.
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
And I guess the question is, do you want to consume this boy?
Yes! Yeah.
Then we will fade.
hesitation.
We will fade back. We'll fade out, panning back through the door with these just unspeakable sounds coming from the other side of the doorway. Clear all your conditions, Gregor. And I'll bring the session to an end there.
Hey, that was great.
He speeds on a 16-year-old boy. What the fuck?
I needed to just test the water and be like, is Steve willing to become the fucking villain? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting black market fucking tomfoolery. I'll give it that. That's
Look, what is the ultimate enemy of communism? Free market capitalism.
Hey, dude, I'm not complaining.
But that was okay? People had fun?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Steve, I kind of left a massive gap between the beginning of the session and the end of the session, but hopefully you had fun in the bits you were in.
No, it's fine. I was like half doing something in the background anyway.
Yeah, dude. I thought it was good. I was just
I was like paying attention there.
I was gonna say, you weren't just masturbating or anything.
okay. Well,
All right.
I do want to ask one question,
Hit me.
just for the future.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking vision that I did have when I was doing
Yep.
the alchemy stuff with the blood, I did actually legitimately forget.
I had a
So
feeling
what
you
was
might have. I just didn't want to completely interject there. Basically, it was a sequence where you saw through the eyes of the person who sacrificed themselves. You saw them with one of the sisters, and he was willingly going with them to be sacrificed.
Okay, I want to write down a note for this, for, you know.
Because I feel like the minute I mentioned the sisters, just hearing Nameless just go, "Oh fuck, right, yes, that," and I was like, "Oh, this whole bit is just not quite snagged on your brain." But yeah.
Yeah, honestly, because I completely forgot about that last time. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, I'm breaking out the notes. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
I should just give you a warning before the next session, though, Game Master. You're really into Barry White CDs, aren't you? Or
No,
vinyls?
that's Louis Armstrong's.
Louis
Yeah,
Armstrong.
this is before Barry White.
Why are you gonna love me? Love me, love me.
Let's get it on.
That's Marvin Gaye.
Are you gonna be the Walrus of Love?
Yeah, I think that might be Barry White. I don't remember.
This is like after the bad guy.
So you're more like Billie Eilish. Now, to be honest with you, like, you are the first player I've had who I've just been like, I wonder if I can actually just make him be the villain, and sure enough, you just went for it.
Yeah.
Just utterly morally bankrupt. Huh?
Being the bad guy's fun with these losing good guys trying to save the world.
I mean, at least I'm
Actually,
glad
I
I
agree with
didn't. I didn't go like, okay, what if it's a child? I was like, no, you were still fucking eating that child.
Yeah, I don't think you want the answer to that.
Oh, God.
I respect it. Like I said, I think Steve is probably the MVP of the session for how fucking like
Horrifying.
he always thinks like outside the box when it comes to strange shit.
Even when he's inside the box, he's thinking outside the
Yeah,
box.
even when he's inside the box, he thinks outside the box.